Welcome back to Witness Richness. It's your man JCP, and as always, I am super excited to be back in front of the camera. This week I want to talk to you about emotional intelligence and how crucial emotional intelligence is to your personal development. Let me take you out to the intro. See you back here in a minute. So first and foremost, I did not even become aware of the term emotional intelligence until about a year ago. And once I became aware of the term emotional intelligence, which is your emotional quotient, okay, I've taken the action to increase my emotional awareness and increase my emotional intellect, okay? And what I mean by that is understanding that when you have an emotion, okay, that can instantly cause a reaction or a response. And depending on where your emotions lie, while you have that response or while you have that reaction can dictate a lot, okay? It can totally change the message, okay? Now, what I'm trying to say to you is when you feel any type of energy that is below this line, okay? Here's the line, right? See my hands? That's the line. Below this line, okay, is negative energy. The fear, depression, sorrow, misery, pain, annoyance, pessimistic thoughts, right? Now above this line, okay, is creativity, passion, love, joy, abundance, optimistic thoughts, okay? Now, if you have any type of emotion that's pulling you below this line and you come from and you react or you respond from this emotion, that will get you a result based off of a negative thought process, based off of a negative state of being. So the more responses or the more reactions or more thoughts that come from a positive emotional state of being, I feel will be conducive to your success. Now, where emotional intelligence comes in, okay, is pretty much the idea that let's think of emotions as a knob, right, in your brain, okay? And right in the middle is where it's equalized. That's where you want to be. That's where you're able to expand. When you're on balance, when you're equalized, you're ready to expand, okay? And, you know, if the dial turns to the left, without even touching the dial, your thought process can turn it way back to the right. Now, if something influences you, right, and it takes your emotions below that line, okay, that dial is turned and is below that line, the emotional intelligence part comes into play, right? It's now, hold on, wait. Why am I below this line right now? What happened? You pinpoint why you feel below this line, why your emotional state is below that line. You pinpoint it. That is the emotional intellect. That is the emotional quotient, okay? And now once you identify why you're below that line, you now have to counteract that emotional state because you want to get yourself back above this line, right? There's a couple different thought processes or techniques that I use to keep my emotional state high, right? Now, one being, again, why do I feel this way? Now, I can play out quickly if I react or if I respond with my emotions in this state, what the end result would be, versus if I react or I respond with my emotions in a positive state. Okay, there's two different outcomes. Now, the intellect comes from my belief that if I'm in a positive state of mind, I'll make more choices that are positive and conducive to my visions, right? Now, again, so when I talked about one of the techniques was understanding why and then playing out, okay, if I respond from this emotional state versus if I respond from this emotional state, okay? And I would tell you that there's actually some type of statistic saying that like 30% of your decisions from a positive state are, you know, better for you long term than making those same decisions in a negative state of mind. Okay, or making decisions in that negative state of mind. Okay? Now, believe it if you don't want, believe it or not, you know, I'm not big on statistics, but at the end of the day, you know, whatever you tell yourself that works for you, rock with it. All right, so I believe that I want to have my emotions in that positive state as much as possible. So that's one reason, that's one way that I can anchor myself to make sure that I'm producing positive thoughts. Okay, and I'm keeping myself in a positive place. And number two is, again, having those visions that pull you forward, right? When something happens and, instantly you have this feeling of, I'm below this line right now. But wait, I have visions and I have goals and I have things that I want to achieve. And I already know that if I'm in this state, I'm blocking that. I'm taking myself off a track because what I want and what I believe is all above this line, right? Everything is up there. Everything that I want is that way. So the moment that I'm, falling behind emotionally, I gotta get myself back on track. So that's two things that I do. Understanding the reason why I feel the way I feel, and for two, anchoring something. Finding something I can take my mind off this current situation, right, and think about my goals. Take myself 5 years from now, where I'm at, where I plan on being in 5 years, right? And that thought puts a smile on my face. That thought, that feeling, that vision that I felt and I imagined so many times, that feels real to me, that brings me in my emotions to a higher state. And then now, whatever situation I'm faced with, I can now think logically, okay? Think from a positive place, think logically, and make sure that my thoughts are conducive to my success. So here's an example of just how, I've realized that I've grown emotionally in a couple different areas of life, okay? A couple weeks ago, I was playing ball at the Y. And, some young kid got into it, one kid, and said one thing, and before you know it, this kid's like making phone calls, running to his gym bag, leaving the building, like making threats, and it's just like, all this happened over a game of basketball. And I think to myself, like, wow, a couple years back, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, shit, maybe even like, I don't know, a year ago, I had a quick trigger just like that, where, sometimes it's just playing ball and having that adrenaline rush going through you, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's emotions. And you cannot let any outside factor really come in and change your character, okay? As a man, as a woman, whatever it may be, just don't let any outside factor come in and change your emotional state, especially when you're in a high vibe, right? Don't let anything come in there and change your frequency where you're vibrating at. And that's the big key. So as you become more aware of your emotions and you start to feel in tune with yourself, you will literally feel when something's not right. And you will literally feel where, you're in a situation where you don't want to be. Or you will literally feel that thought or that rage, whatever it may be, and you can take your mind and without even touching that dial, turn it back down. Get yourself to a level standpoint. Get yourself to a level emotional standpoint where you can actually make logical decisions, make logical choices that will actually help you and be conducive to your success. There can be so many influences or factors that can knock you off your game, right? And take you out of that emotional state or get you out of character. At the end of the day, there should not be any outside force that makes you react outside of your character, okay? That's what I'm trying to say to you. And that's what I've learned, and that's what I've been picking up, and that's what I've been increasing as time goes on. And let me tell you right now, when it comes to business, oh my goodness, you better have your emotional quotients up, all right? Because listen, entrepreneurship, business, anything that you do that you're giving your full-time passion into, and it's a learning process, you may fail and you may fall flat in your face time and time again. Having your emotions in check to get up and be able to dust your shoulders off, right? Learn from your lessons and keep that ball rolling is major when it comes to business. Just a quick recap on emotional intelligence. Having the ability to internalize and actualize your feelings right when they happen, and having the ability to turn your emotions from negative to positive right when it happens, and realizing that you'll make better choices and better decisions that are conducive to your success and to your goals when they come from a positive state of mind and a positive emotional state. All right, that was a quick video on emotional intelligence, and if you haven't done your research, then listen, this is a 10-minute video. This is not going to give you what you need for emotional intelligence. It's going to take you doing your own research, independent research, doing studies, and implementing new thought processes for you to be able to learn this stuff and use this stuff. But if you wasn't already aware of emotional intelligence and the fact that you can actually raise your own emotional intelligence, then that's the whole point of this channel. But you have to do the work for yourself. As always, my brother, and as always, my sister, I invite you. Let's grow together. I'll see you in next week's episode.